Ever feel like you're juggling flaming bowling pins while riding a unicycle? Just to like keep up with the day-to-day.
Oh, yeah.
And then somewhere in there, you're supposed to find time for family.
It's a lot.
It really is. Well, today we're going to deep dive into this idea of family bonding, but not in that cheesy, like we're all going to sing Kumbaya kind of way.
Right.
We found this fascinating snippet on the Indian podcast, Spiritual Monk, and they're talking about this retreat,
Uh-huh.
but it's not about ignoring real life,
Yeah, this retreat actually focuses on like leaning into those challenges.
the messy stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like communication breakdowns. You know those moments when you're like, why are we even talking?
Tell me about it.
Well, they're tackling that head on. It's about equipping families with actual tools to navigate those rough patches, you know?
Okay, so less about escaping reality and more about like learning how to actually deal with it.
Exactly. So, for example, the podcast talked about this concept of active listening. Have you heard that?
Oh, yeah.
It's not just like nodding and pretending you're paying attention. It's about actually digesting what the other person is saying and then paraphrasing it back to them.
So they know you're really getting it.
Yeah. And it can be super powerful for like de-escalating arguments, you know, when things are getting
Oh,
heated.
totally. Sometimes just feeling heard is enough to like take the temperature down,
Right. But it's hard to do that when everyone's like, you know, all riled up.
for sure.
Mhm.
So how does this retreat actually like teach people to do that?
Well, they have this really cool approach where they combine adventure activities like, you know, rock climbing or something.
Okay, so they get the adrenaline pumping first.
Right. It builds trust and all that. Then in the evenings, they have these guided sessions with a trained facilitator, and they do these exercises to help families identify their communication patterns.
Interesting. So they're getting families to like analyze how they interact as a unit.
Exactly. They even do this thing called family sculpting, where like each family member positions themselves in a room. Yeah, it's like a visual representation of their emotional closeness or distance from each other.
That's wild. I mean, it makes sense though. You can kind of see those unspoken dynamics playing out.
Right. And it opens up conversations about why those patterns exist, you know?
Wow. So this is getting pretty deep, huh? Like a lot of self-awareness going on there.
Yeah, for sure. But that brings up an interesting point. Like, how realistic is it for families to take these skills back to their, you know, crazy everyday lives?
Right. Like it's easy to have a breakthrough when you're on this like peaceful retreat. But what about when you're back to the grind?
Totally. That's where the retreat's focus on creating a family mission statement comes in.
A mission statement, like a company.
Kind of. But for your family, it's about coming together to define your shared values and goals.
Oh, I get it. So when things get tough, you can like remind yourselves of what you're working towards together.
Exactly. It's like a touchstone. And they also emphasize continued communication even after the retreat's over. You know, they provide resources and encourage families to schedule regular check-in sessions.
So they don't just like send you off into the world and say good luck.
Yeah.
They actually give you tools to keep the momentum going.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a really holistic approach, you know, blending the emotional stuff with the practical stuff.
I like that. So they're basically saying that strong families aren't just good for the individuals involved.
Right. They actually contribute to a more compassionate society as a whole.
That's like a ripple effect.
Exactly. When families thrive, communities thrive.
Okay, so besides all the like communication skills and stuff, what else did this Spiritual Monk podcast highlight?
They also talked about the importance of shared memories, you know?
Oh, yeah. Like those moments you look back on and laugh.
Yeah, but also the tough moments. The ones where you like overcame an obstacle together.
Those are the ones that really bond you together.
Exactly. It's about building resilience as a family so that when you face future challenges, you can draw on those shared experiences.
It's like a shared history that helps you get through the rough patches.
Yeah, it's not about pretending everything is perfect all the time, but it's about being equipped to navigate the ups and downs together.
So ultimately, this retreat is about investing in those family relationships so that you can create that loving, supportive environment where everybody can thrive.
Exactly. And on that note, I have a final thought-provoking question for you.
Okay.
If you could dedicate time to strengthening one key relationship in your life, which would it be and why? Think about that one for a bit.
Ooh, that's a good one. I have to ponder that.
Oh,
Thanks for
yeah.
joining me for this deep dive.
Of course. Always a pleasure.